Hello everybody, this is Lara with your second video today for free analysis for Ethereum and XRP, and for these two I can give you Elliott Wave counts. I cannot give you Elliott Wave counts for my Bitcoin technical analysis because that's by subscription only on my website. So if you do want to follow my Elliott Wave count for Bitcoin, it's going to be different than these two markets because they're all different. If you want to follow that, you can subscribe at pureelliottwave.com. There are links in the description box below. Ethereum, I do expect Ethereum also may have found low, and for Ethereum I expect this is the end of minute degree second wave correction within intermediate wave 1, within primary 3, within cycle 3. So this is a very bullish wave count. I don't like calculating targets for cryptocurrencies because I tried that in December 2017 up to Bitcoin's high of that year before it had that big year-long bear market and a massive crash, and it blew all of my targets away. So in the end, I ended up using classic analysis techniques to identify, along with a complete Elliott Wave count, to identify that high in December 2017, 6 days after it formed, and I called for a crash, and that's what happened. I want to use the same approach for all of these markets, for these third waves, and so my targets come with a huge caveat, a bucket load of salt, and I'm not using them for my own investing purposes. I'm only putting them out there as possible ideas of where these markets could go, just to get a general idea. That's all they are. So if primary 3 reaches 11.09, the length of primary wave 1, which is an extreme Fibonacci ratio, then a possible target would be 54,226. Within the start of primary 3, I have minor 1, minor 2. Within minor 3, I have minute 1 and 2. I've drawn a base channel around minor 1 and 2. You draw a base channel from the start of 1 to the end of 2 with a parallel copy on the end of 1. Lower degree second wave corrections often, not always, but often will find support or resistance along a base channel in the side opposite to the trend. So here minute 2 in the side opposite to the trend may have found support at the lower edge of the base channel. Looking at this on the daily chart, here's the end of, or here's minute 2 with its B wave and now its C wave. I've changed the labeling. I've gone down to lower time frames and done a little bit more work on this count for Ethereum today. I see subminuet 1 over here as a leading contracting diagonal, subminuet 2 over here as a double combination. There's a zigzag in here, X, and there's a flat correction in here for Y. Subminuet 3, a beautiful looking impulse ending with a lot of strength. This is such a typical look for a third wave for a cryptocurrency. Subminuet 4, also a double combination. I could actually see 4 over here as a triangle, but I think the triangle comes to a too quick end. I think that would be rather forced. So it's possible, and that would give great alternation, but I think what's a better fit is subminuet 4, also a double combination. Subminuet waves 2 and 4 not exhibiting alternation in terms of structure. Alternation is a guideline, not a rule. We don't always see it. You have to be flexible with that guideline of alternation. If 4 is over here, then 5 has a beautiful look, a nice little curve, sharp end. And now price has bounced up and found support beautifully at the lower edge of that base channel. The technicals for Ethereum aren't as clear to me as Bitcoin, but I do think it's fairly likely that the low of September 11 for Ethereum is fairly likely to remain sustained in the start of the next bullish run for Ethereum. There's a bullish piercing pattern here, but it does not have support from volume. So this isn't as strong as a bullish engulfing pattern that I can see on Bitcoin, but it is a decent piercing pattern. So it is a bullish reversal pattern. It's finding resistance at the lower edge of this little flag pattern. The flag expected the downward breakout, but the target for the flag was not met. And now we're getting this upward movement. So a back test of resistance. Now I want to see this trend line taken out. I want to see price move above this trend line right here as my very first piece of information I want to see to have confidence that a low is in place here for Ethereum. After that, I really do want to see a new high above 1745.02 because that would break the series of lower highs and lower lows, the basic definition of a downward trend. Here is the last swing high within that downward trend, and so I want to see that taken out for confidence that this low is going to remain intact. While we don't have that, particularly while price is below this lower edge of the flag pattern, if does continue to fall, I'll look for support at 1360. I will say it's more than 50% likely, I'd say maybe 70-30 for Ethereum, that this low of September 11 is going to remain intact. But there are some things I want to see before I have increased confidence in that call for Ethereum. Volume was pushing price lower. The piercing pattern does not have good support from volume. The last signal from Ethereum with on-balance volume was bearish. On-balance volume now bouncing up, so that signal, that downward movement to follow the signal has been seen now, so waiting for the next range, waiting for the next signal, none yet. ADX for Ethereum is telling us the downward trend is very extreme, so if it's not over at the low for September 11, it's going to be over much sooner rather than later. It's not actually that common for downward trends to reach this extreme for these bear markets. There is deeply oversold RSI and now double bullish divergence. So along with an extreme ADX and a bullish piercing pattern, that all points to, that's good decent technical evidence that that low is likely to remain intact. Likewise, double bullish divergence between money flow after it reached somewhat oversold. Adding an ATR as a measure of volatility, there was a decline in volatility at the low. Now sometimes you see a spike in volume, in range, and volatility at a low as a low forms a V bottom with a selling climax, but not this time. Now you don't always have to see that, but when I do, I would have a little bit more confidence. The lack of it doesn't give me less confidence. I hope that makes sense, but this could have been a weaker low. Moving on to XRP, the weekly chart sees XRP also within a third wave at cycle degree. That's on the monthly chart, which I shall not go through in every video. It's in other videos. Within cycle 3, primary 1, primary 2 a double zigzag, primary 3 may only subdivide as an impulse. I'll label intermediate 1 incomplete, but for XRP, I might change the degree of labeling here in coming weeks and move this up 1 degree. For Bitcoin, I'm fairly confident that the low of September 11 is going to remain sustained. For Ethereum, I'm reasonably, not as confident, but still somewhat reasonably confident. But for XRP, I am not. This upward movement off the low is weak, and I think XRP may very well be about to see lower lows, and I would expect if it does continue lower, I'll expect it to find final support and stop about 40 cents. Still 2 Elliott Wave counts at the daily chart level for XRP. The first Elliott Wave count sees minor 2 as a double zigzag continuing lower, W, X, Y, Y with A, B, C. B here is a double combination, zigzag, X is a triangle, and within Y here on a lower time frame I can see a flat correction. So C needs to subdivide as a 5-wave motive structure. I've changed my labeling of it slightly today, so it's got to subdivide subnuit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The change here is to see 3 not over here because it would be shorter than 1, so to see 3 over at the next low. So an impulse, micro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is needed to complete lower for subnuit 3, and then subnuit 4, another little bounce or consolidation could be over really quickly within a day or maybe just 1 or 2 days. And then the final low down to the very final low for subnuit 5. Now minuet C for this wave count would be extremely likely to move below the end of A at 0.4456 to avoid a truncation, and truncations are very rare. Alternatively, it's possible that minor 2 could have been over here at the low for XRP on 17th of August, and it will subdivide as a double zigzag, W, X. Both the daily charts are the same to this point here, but instead of A, B, C, here I have A, B, C for subnuit Y, for minute wave Y. Couple of problems with this wave count. If minor 2 is over here, it's only a 74.5% correction of minor 1. For a normal market, that would be considered very deep, but for a cryptocurrency, including XRP, it's not as deep as these second wave corrections usually are. And in this instance, for minor 2, I would expect a deeper correction because it's following a leading diagonal in a first wave position, and second wave corrections following those are commonly really deep. So this isn't quite as deep as normal, and particularly for this wave count, it should be deeper than that. So that reduces the probability. I've adjusted this channel for XRP. I've drawn it from this high to this high, pulled a parallel copy down here to sit on this low. There's an overshoot down here. Price remains within the channel. If we see upward movement above this channel and not touching the upper trend line, green candlesticks, then we'd have a channel breach and a little bit of confidence in this wave count. But for XRP, I really want to see a new high above 0.6650. That's this high here. That's the last swing high within the bear market before that last low. So if we see a new high above 0.6650, that would break the series of lower lows and lower highs, the basic definition of a downward trend, and then we can have some confidence that that trend is broken and the next trend in the opposite direction up should then be underway. I expect that we could be continuing lower for XRP. There's no strength up off the lows yet for me to have any confidence whatsoever in calling for this low to be intact. Not a lot of strength here up off this low as well. Volume still pushing price lower. Green candlesticks have weaker and declining volume. The short-term volume profile for XRP I am reading as bearish. The last signal for XRP given on-balance volume was bearish. It's now moving up, so we wait for the next signal, we wait for the next range to form, and then we wait for a breakout. No new signal today. For XRP, ADX tells us there's a downward trend. It's not extreme and it's got quite a long way to go before it would become extreme. RSI reached somewhat oversold and exhibits single divergence. This could develop further. We could see double or even triple bullish divergence before the final low is found. Likewise, money flow, double bullish divergence after reaching oversold. Bringing in ATR today as a measure of volatility. ATR is declining as price essentially moves sideways and slightly lower. There was a bit of an increase back here, and now it's really quite light. Now, that could be associated with a low. Sometimes they end with a little bit of a flump, and they just don't really have any strength, and sometimes they can end with a big selling climax and form a V-bottom. So while I can see some technical evidence for a low being sustained for Bitcoin and Ethereum, I cannot yet see it for XRP, so I expect it may very well continue lower. I'll be looking for support at 40 cents. What would make me change my mind on that? A new high above 0.6650. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your engagement, and if you haven't subscribed, I recommend you do so. I'm covering these markets every day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I've got 15 years experience in technical analysis. Elliott Wave is my specialty. You'll get my Elliott Wave analysis of Ethereum and XRP every day for free, and I've also been a CMT, Chartered Market Technician, for over a decade now, so you're getting all of that for free and don't miss anything. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your engagement.